Sometimes we have an instinct when someone tells us that they're struggling or we're worried about them or we can see that they're in distress, we want to try and fix it. And for many people, that's not always the most helpful thing. We know that sometimes the best thing that we can offer someone is empathy, connection, validation. How do you do this? It can be really difficult, but it's also really simple. And the first thing to do is recognize the urge you have to try and fix it. If you're trying to reduce their fear, reduce their worry, reduce their anxiety because you're struggling to see them like that, you need to check in with yourself. Once you've done that, one of the best tools that I've come across for doing this is the 5 steps of emotion coaching. Now, emotion coaching is a term that is often used in parenting courses. I know that I use it a lot when I run tuning into teens and when I talk to parents about various ways that they can engage with their young person. But I wanted to adapt that slightly to show you how you can use it as an educator, as a mental health professional, or really anybody who works with young people, but it's also really helpful to use with adults. So it's not limited just to working with young people. Okay, so what is emotion coaching? This is a concept that's been developed, or a technique really, that's been developed by Dr. John Gottman. And it helps you understand the landscape of emotions and how that they, noticing them, understanding them, labeling them are important parts to emotional intelligence, to resilience. And sometimes we use this idea of we have to name it to tame it. So being able to know what we're feeling is one of the first steps in knowing then what to do next. So as an educator, and I'll use as educators as an example, but really anybody can do this. The first thing you need to be aware of is, how is that emotion being expressed? It's all about noticing and paying attention to what that young person is saying, doing, their body language, their behaviors. Notice that and be present, be ready to listen. Step 2, acknowledge and validate. Let them know it's okay to feel what they're feeling. Skip the dismissive remarks or an eye roll. And that's things like, oh, you'll get over that. Oh, I wouldn't worry about that if I were you. Oh, just put on a brave face, be happy. We don't want to do that in emotion coaching. The third step is label the emotion. Many of us, not just teens, struggle to label our emotions. We might have a very small vernacular to describe what we're feeling: sad, mad, angry, frustrated, hungry. I don't know if that's a feeling. Not really, not in this case. So what we need to do is help them label it. You look disappointed. I can see you're sad. I wonder if you're frustrated right now. Upset is a nice general one that can start with. If you're working with a younger person, use simpler words: sad, mad, angry, scared. An adult or a young person might have a little bit more an understanding of the different types of emotions. So you can expand that a little bit. Help them understand and label that emotion. Encourage them to express it if possible. And that helps boost their emotional intelligence, their emotional awareness, and the ability to self-soothe and problem solve. So already you're helping by talking them through that process. The fourth step is communicate empathy and understanding. This is listening. This is active listening. This is those nods, hums, ahas, those sort of moments that show that you're listening. And it can be reinforcing some of those things of, wow, that sounds really tough. I'd feel that way too if that happened to me. That explains why you feel so disappointed. Yeah, I get it. I mean, I haven't had that experience, but I can only imagine what that's like. So it's really about empathizing with the young person's feeling. If you don't know what that feeling's like, if you haven't had a situation that resembles what that young person's saying, that's okay. We don't need to have had the same experience to be able to empathize with the feeling. We all know what it's like to feel rejected, disappointed, lonely, isolated, to work really hard for something and not be acknowledged or appreciated. So try not to think about a comparative situation, but think about the same feeling, and that might help you to connect a little better. So remember to empathize and show care, compassion, and understanding. And the fifth step, this is when you can offer some practical solutions. You can problem solve, you can set boundaries and limitations. Remember, all feelings are okay, but not all behaviors are. So if they've acted out of anger and they've maybe done some damage, maybe some property damage, obviously use your judgment if it's safe to do so, to have this conversation first. You have that. If there are other concerns, you address those. that's when you might say, look, I can see you're angry. I understand you felt hurt. What happened wasn't fair. And it's not okay to have punched the wall. It's not okay to have spoken to me like that. You can set boundaries and you can problem solve. So this is the bit that you can say, I wonder what we could do next time. Is there anything I can do to help you? Do you think that you might want to talk to the school counselor about this? So go through those 5 steps, and that will put you in a really good position to help that young person build their emotional intelligence, build their awareness. And remember, you have to name it to tame it.